here we are, folks. James 10. James 10. Turn that volume down.
Wait.
James 10. Wait. You turn your volume.
I turned this one down
Okay, turn mine down.
on the right hand side. Oh, you might have to take that cover off if it doesn't.
All right, I got it. All right, friends.
Hey everyone.
Let's see. Okay, 4 people so far. Just getting ready here. Apparently, I did learn how to set the YouTube live up correctly.
And you see we have a new setup. Very excited. People made comments that it was a little weird that we were so low and looking up at the camera. And it makes sense because usually we're not sitting a lot during class. So, you know, we're standing and things like that. So let us know if this it feels better if you were with us last time.
Hey, Gwen. Gwen Hudson.
Gwen's in the house.
We miss you in the studio, Gwen. But we're always happy you're joining online. It's always nice to hear your voice. All right, friends. We'll give people a few more minutes to sign on. But as a special bonus for you signing on time, I thought I'd not share a little story just yet, but I thought I'd ask James a question. James, what is your most embarrassing or awkward teaching moment in teaching yoga? Like, what was it? When was there a class when you were teaching and something really weird happened, or you were really embarrassed about something that happened?
Like, I was embarrassed by something that I did in class.
Or did something that happened in class? What, just an awkward moment when you were teaching in class, or something embarrassing that you did?
All right. I think probably the most, I mean, I laughed at it. I mean, it's hard to embarrass me because I think being the youngest of 6 kids, you're used to being the butt of everybody's jokes and being made fun of. But so I grew a thick skin. But I could not believe that I did this. So most of you are probably familiar with the posture that usually people use at the end of class to like unwind and like right before Shavasana. Well, a lot of people call it happy baby. But Anna Forrest, who was one of the teachers that I studied with, called it dead bug, which also sometimes people. Well, I combined both of them and I called it dead baby. I immediately like stopped and couldn't believe that I said it. So then I just started laughing out loud, and then everybody else started laughing because they realized that I didn't mean to say dead baby.
How long into your teaching career was this? Like, were you a new teacher? Were you teaching for 10 years?
I think it was not too far after I had studied with Anna. So it was at the beginning. She was really technically my first teacher training that I ever took. So it was probably like in the first few years of like me teaching more full time. But yeah, it just came out. Like I don't know. I just wasn't thinking. I just said dead baby, and I was like, that doesn't sound right.
It's understandable. That was the most embarrassing, huh?
That might have been. I mean, unless you remember me telling you a story of something more embarrassing.
No, this was unrehearsed, by the way. I wanted to catch James. I wanted to catch him off guard. But I've got a story about. I'm pretty sure my most awkward moment in teaching. I have 2. One is, and these were first when I just started teaching. So it wasn't like the first class I ever taught, but it was like in the first 6 months I was teaching. The first one's it's somewhat common. I was teaching a class at a studio, and luckily it was a very small class. It was like a noon class, and there was a couple people in there, I think. And halfway through class, I forgot everything I knew about yoga. I completely blanked out halfway through class. It was an hour-long class, and like in the 30-minute mark, I forgot everything I knew about yoga because, like most yoga teachers, I was always very nervous before class started for years. For years, I was very anxious before class started. And I didn't, and this is why we always tell our apprentices and our teacher trainees in the past, it's a good idea to have a sequence written out on a pad of paper near the front of the room, just in case you forget everything you know. Because you can go, and after that class, I got through somehow, obviously. But after that class, I always had a sequence written out on paper in front of the room, so I can go refer to it if I need to. And once in a while I would. Wouldn't be that often, once in a while I would. But that's not the most awkward thing that ever happened. I may have told you this story before. I think I did, but you may have forgotten about it. This was also when I just started teaching, within the first year. So again, I was still pretty anxious. And I taught a couple studios, and they were great studios. They're the biggest studios in Chicago, really, at the time. And I was asked to sub for the owner, who had the biggest class. So I was extra nervous for this one. And class started, and I got in there. I was doing my thing. I had my sequence written out someplace, I'm sure. And in the front of class, again, it was a very crowded class. In the front row was a person, let's call this person Johnny. It's not the real name. Johnny was in the front row, and I knew Johnny from the studio. And we didn't really get along that well. Like there was no strong dislike, but I always got a weird vibe from Johnny. Okay. 15 minutes in the class, I'm teaching, and the way we taught, the way we learned at first to teach was to practice with the class, kind of like we do more now, and just kind of shout out the names of the poses and do the poses with them. So I'm in front of the class doing everything with the students. And Johnny in the front row, I hear Johnny in the front row saying something.
Like under his breath to himself?
Yeah, under his breath. Okay. And I'm like, what is Johnny? Johnny, what is Johnny saying?
Dairy.
After a little bit, I start to recognize what Johnny's saying. I kid you not. He's saying, I hate this fucking class. I hate this fucking class. I hate this fucking
You're
class.
sure you're saying that?
Yeah, I never told you the story, obviously. I am positive. Because it went on it went on for half the class.
He kept saying it?
I hate this fucking class. Like he wasn't like staring at me, but he was saying it under his breath. But loud enough for me to hear, because it's in the front row. So I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm already so nervous. This is so weird. It's so awkward. Halfway through class, because we did some kind of acrobat type things, much more than we do now, if you believe it or not. Johnny hurt his neck and left the class. And he was okay. Like he's like, oh, because we did it back.
Do you think he was faking because he thought your class sucked?
I never thought that. That could be true. But we did a backward somersault.
Oh, those are tough.
That was tough. And like, hurt neck, grabbed his man, left the room. So I'm like, oh, jeez. I'm like, I felt bad Johnny hurt his neck, but I was kind of happy he wasn't heckling me in the front row anymore. Years later. So, I got over it. It was very awkward, but I got over it. Years later, I'm talking to another yoga teacher. This other yoga teacher says, oh, yeah, Johnny was in my class today. And this teacher was friends with Johnny. Oh, Johnny was in class today. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And she's like, yeah, I think he has his Tourette's under control now.
Oh, he Tourette's.
It's Tourette's.
So he wasn't, he might have still not liked your class, but he was definitely not in control of him expressing
He
that.
probably didn't like my class. I don't think people who have Tourette's lie. They say what's on their mind.
No, I have to do more research.
So now I'm not making light on Tourette's by any means.
Right.
But I just wish someone would have told me this person had Tourette's.
Well, yeah, it's usually not somebody that's gonna.
Well, you gotta warn the yogi, man.
I guess. I have somebody hurt their neck when I taught the backward somersault too. You know who it was? Christina Applegate.
Oh, that's right. I thought it was forward somersault.
No, did backward somersault. And I told everybody,
I remember that.
if they've never done it before, not to do it and to do something else instead, which is like roll on the shoulder. You know how you have that option. And she tried to do it, and I felt so bad. She was doing some movie in Chicago, and they had to stop production of the movie for like weeks. I don't even know how much I costed Warner Brothers, but I'm glad they didn't come back at me. I felt horrible. I never taught that again after that.
Yeah,
after I heard Christina, that's dumb. It's like I can't do it again.
All right. I guess that's my story. That's my icebreaker.
Yeah, that's it. How many people? What do we got now?
Whole bunch. Doesn't matter. It's time to get started.
Are we tired? Okay, let's get started.
We're 10 minutes into it.
All right. So today we're going to go over a couple of things that we're really excited about offering in 2024. We're going to be talking a little bit more in depth. The first thing I'm going to talk about in January, we're going to promote it a little bit more. But we're offering you out there today a very special deal if you register for it today. So one of the things that we've never done before, and I don't know why we've never done it before, is to offer a 90-day unlimited class package. So this is something that we thought might be a really smart move for people that want to bolster their practice, maybe practice a little bit more often and kind of get the ball rolling in 2024. I think during the holidays, sometimes people, they get busy and we kind of get sidetracked and maybe our practice was lax a little bit and we just want to get jump started again, at the beginning of the year. So this is great for people that are maybe used to buying class packages or drop-in classes. If you're already doing it unlimited, like you have a yearly or 6-month unlimited, it's not going to make sense for you because you're already getting a good deal with class packages and you're already committed. But if you're not, and you feel like, yeah, this is a really good way to kind of get the ball rolling in 2024, it's a great deal. We're offering it for $325, 3 months, unlimited yoga. Remember, you've got the in-person classes that you can come to and the live virtual classes that you can come to. So you've got both of those options. We have classes, of course, 7 days a week. We have a pretty wide range of classes. So you should be able to get your money's worth from that deal. Some of the stipulations is that you need to start by January 31st. So you can register anytime during January and have to take your first class by January 31st. If you sign up today, what we're going to give you is 3 workshop credits. Now, all of our workshops for 2024, except maybe some pop-up classes we might do, are all online. But just to give you a heads up on some of the workshops that we're going to offer at the beginning of the year is the Intro to Ayurveda. Jim's going to be teaching a self-practice workshop, which is great. He really gives you kind of the rundown of how to create an at-home practice that's really feasible for you.
And also the Better Balance workshop is in January.
Better Balance workshop is in January? I don't know if I have that right. I'm sure I do. Everything's on paper for me.
And Gwen was one of the first people who inspired me to do the Better Balance workshop. She asked if I would do a workshop on it. And I said,
oh, nice.
Thanks, Gwen.
We've got like an introduction or like a yoga and meditation workshop. I've got the first workshop to the Lens of Ayurveda series that I'm starting in 2024 is in, when is that? In February. That's going to be going over the philosophy or kind of like the roots of what Ayurveda draws from philosophically. So we've got a lot of great workshops. Oh, there goes the improving your balance. All through January, February, and March.
And right now, in the chat section, our trusty assistant at home has put up the link for that workshop.
Yeah,
or for that deal.
Yeah, so you can just click right on that link and click purchase. And anybody that purchases today will get 3 workshop credits. You can use them for any workshops throughout the time that you have that unlimited membership. And yeah, so that's the one thing we wanted to mention. Again, we'll be talking more about that in January to remind you in the YouTube live that we'll do in January, but just wanted to mention it today, give you a little added bonus if you do end up being like really inspired and want to strike while the iron's hot and just sign up for that. You sign up for it today. Again, you can start at any time during January. Your start date is up to you from January 1st through the 31st.
And let your friends know too that might want to do a New Year's resolution of getting healthy. Just it'll give them, the 3 months will give them a little more, what's the word? Not commitment.
Incentive?
Incentive.
Yeah.
To stick with their resolution, because usually they last a very, very short amount of time.
Yeah, because usually people will fall off, right? Probably like we've noticed, right? I mean, people they're like, yeah, I'm gonna come to yoga every day, and last maybe about a month, maybe a month and a half, and then people start to
typically
dwindle away. So this is a really good way to kind of make that commitment. Most of the time for people to create any kind of habit, it takes well over a month, 40 days, even sometimes longer. If you're talking about doing something, 3 times a week as opposed to something every day, it creates you need a little bit longer time to create those habits. So yeah, so we're excited to offer that. Now, depending on the, what do I want to say?
I'm going to answer a question while you think of it. Meg just asked about the balanced class and workshop. Yes, Meg, there will be a weekly class as well, a better balanced class every week on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. The workshop is going to obviously be longer. It'll be twice the length of a normal class. And so we'll have more time to go over certain things. And then also, obviously, not everyone can make a 10:30 a.m. class on Thursday. So that will also be nice for people who have a 9 to 5 schedule. One other thing, while James is still thinking.
I thought of this.
Okay, go on.
Okay, I can go now.
You go.
Depending on the level of interest for the 90-day, we might have to limit how many people take advantage of it because we only have so much space. We want to always make sure that we have enough space for in-person classes. And so the classes don't get too crowded. We might have to limit how many people sign up for the deal. But as of now, we're not worried that much about it, but I just wanted to give you a heads up that if we end up stopping it, it's for that reason. Okay.
So now while James regroups, because he has got something else I think he wants to say. We were talking earlier, and since we have, we've got quite a few of these YouTube lives planned now in our schedules, like one a month basically we'll be doing. We're thinking about maybe at some point having a guest on. We'll have like a guest in between us, and we can kind of interview the guest a little bit while we talk about the things we need to talk about. So what we thought would be nice if quite a few of you are signing on now, maybe if you have a suggestion about what guest you'd like to see on our YouTube live. Yeah, any guest that's reasonable, of course. We can't get Christina Applegate because she's mad. She's mad.
I think she might have a restraining order against me.
But if you have any suggestions on a guest, let us know.
Yeah, we're and we're really open to like bringing back past graduates. Like even if you yourself are doing something exciting and participating in something that you want to talk about, like you're part of an organization or something like that. Like we're really open to. I mean, we can do whatever the fuck we want, right? I mean, it's our YouTube show.
Type it in the chat if you got a suggestion.
Yeah, or you can always email us later. But yeah, we'd love to hear your suggestions now if you're inspired. Cool. All right. Are we ready to move on to the next exciting news?
Yes.
So the next thing that we wanted to talk about is we're bringing back a program that we did years ago that was quite successful, but then COVID fucked it all up, which was our mentorship program. And so we have not brought it back since then because of the move, and we had to get settled in, and it was just a little bit hectic. So this year, or 2024, next year, we thought we'd bring back the mentorship program. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it's a program that we designed because when we realized when we were doing group teacher trainings, I would say half the people weren't even really that interested in being teachers, for sure. So they just wanted to deepen their own practice, and so the teacher training component really they didn't really jive with it all the time, or they weren't really that inspired by it. So once we started doing the apprenticeship program, I felt like it knocked out this whole group of people that wanted to study with us and do more in-depth training, but didn't want to be teachers. So the mentorship program does just that. Basically keeps the group teacher training curriculum intact in a way, but no teacher training lessons, right? So you're not learning to be a teacher. So everything about the mentorship program is about your self-development, which is great. It's a 12-month program. You get unlimited yoga classes, just like you would if you signed up for an unlimited membership. But in addition to the unlimited membership, class membership, you also have access to all of the workshops throughout the whole year. They're included, right? So you don't have to, it's not at a discounted rate. It's all the workshops are included in addition to all the classes.
And the privates.
And then we also have 3, I think we said 3 privates. I can look at that up.
Yeah, at least 3.
But yeah, you get 3 one-on-one sessions with Jim or myself. The first one usually emphasizes self-practice, right? So you kind of get a practice on your own at home that you can do. And then, the other 2 usually are maybe in the middle of the year and then maybe towards the end of the year. They're really like check-in points. They can be about anything that you want them to be. Sometimes by that point, we're familiar with like your practice. And so maybe, it's about refining things. Sometimes people are dealing with health concerns. So we kind of check in with that. And, it's really just allowing you to have some more one-on-one time with Jim and or myself.
And if you are interested in the mentorship program, there's now a link in the chat section on this YouTube Live for you to get all the information on it. So check out that link.
Yeah, and there's more in-depth information there if you want to go back and look at that. The other thing that you'll get is an Ayurvedic assessment. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Ayurveda, it is an East Indian science and medicine. I went to school with Dr. Vasant Lad. I've been studying it for probably 18 years now, 19 years. But I specifically went to school and did a 2-year program at the Ayurvedic Institute. And I do consultations. And it's based in the idea, right, the paradigm that we are made up of the elements, and we have all the qualities of those elements innate in us, but in different proportions. And we have this kind of blueprint that is our most balanced state that the body is thriving to get to. But then we also have this current state because our environments, food that we're eating is kind of fucking us up maybe, and then we veer away from that. So it's all about getting back to that balanced state that's innate within us and figuring out ways to do that through diet and lifestyle, remedies, herbal supplements, and things like that, more natural ways. And yoga is also included in that. We use so many different modalities in Ayurveda. It's very inclusive that way. So you get an assessment, kind of figure that out for you, and that's all at the beginning of the year. So we really set you up for success at the beginning of the year to then have this really wonderful progression of workshops and classes that allow you to incrementally evolve, with your practice, and maybe even if you wanted to create certain intentions for your life.
For sure.
So it's a great program. We're really excited to offer it again. This one we do limit, however, to 10 people. We always want to make sure with people that are in the mentorship program, people that are in our apprenticeship program and continuing education training program, we always want to make sure that Jim and I have the availability to be there for you, like questions after class or before class, answering email, having enough time where we're not feeling too spread out with our one-on-one sessions with everyone. So we do limit that to 10 people. That is going to get started in, I think we said February 1st. Yeah.
March 1st.
Oh, no, February 1st.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
And just for those of you who, I'm not sure if James said this or not, I don't think he did today. But the mentorship, as he just explained in detail, the apprenticeship is what we now call our teacher training program. The apprenticeship is a one-on-one teacher training. So if you want to if you're interested in becoming a yoga teacher, the apprenticeship program is the way to go. Mentorship is for if you want to just really dive into it for your own knowledge, your own experience, and not have any teaching component of it. Now we have had a couple people join since I said this last, so let's try it again. If people at home, I mentioned that we're going to keep doing these every month, probably these YouTube lives, and we thought it'd be fun to maybe have a guest once in a while with us. So if you have any suggestions for a guest, like people that the community knows probably, or someone that you want to know that is available to us, type it in the chat section, let us know.
And I will correct myself. It is March 1st that we'll start, because get started. The program, you'll have like a little orientation for the program. And you also get a manual with this. So in the manual, workshop has a handout. But if there's a handout that's pertinent to any of the workshops, you get those. And the bonus to that is, let's say you can't make every single workshop. We're not expecting everybody to make every single workshop, but you still have the handouts, which is basically the skeleton of the curriculum that we're going to go over. So you can always use that as a resource. The other bonus this year, which we weren't doing in mentorship before COVID, was all our videos, all of our workshops are now recorded. Even if you can't make the workshops, I just realized this as I'm talking about. This is fucking great. It's amazing. I know. It's an amazing thing. So even if you can't make every workshop live, you can still get the recording and watch it at your own convenience. That's fabulous. What a deal. So you can go on there. I'll just shoot it out there, because some of you might be inquiring about it in your head, but the pricing is up online. But I want to make sure that I get this. I think I have to refresh. I want to make sure I get this pricing right. I don't want to fuck it up.
No one thought the suggestions for it, because I really thought there'd be some good suggestions.
You put them on the spot.
Come on, like Paul Pierce or.
Okay. So the pricing for the early bird pricing, you pay by February 1st. It's $2,225. And again, this is a pretty good deal for a 12-month program, and workshops are available for you. And you get a few privates. That's pretty good. But they also have payment plans and stuff like that. So if you feel like that's a lot of money to fork out right away, don't worry about it. We can work on payment plans. Don't worry about any of that. But you can keep that in the back of your head. We might bring that up again and talk more about that as it gets closer to. But again, all that information is online, so you can always go back and look at that.
All right. It's been almost a half hour.
Oh, wow.
We said everything we need to say.
Time really flew.
We also like to, we end these usually with an open question and answer. Any kind of questions you have for us. I mean, hopefully it's about yoga, Ayurveda, but if you have other questions, feel free to type it in the chat section. We'll wait patiently for 30 seconds.
Jen said she's hearing feedback static.
Might be the lights.
Static. Might be the lights. Might be the lights, Jen. She's not sure if it's just her. But I would say that it's probably the lights.
Oh, how about this? Does anyone at home, is the audio okay? Can you hear us okay? I'm guessing you can, because a couple of you have commented. But is the audio distorted at all, or is there feedback? Anyone?
Well, while you might be responding to that, the other thing that's included in the mentorship program that I forgot was the 21 days of wellness. We'll also be talking about 21 days of wellness coming up here a little bit more too, which starts April 6th. So some of you have taken done the 21 days of wellness program with me in the past, and people take it every year. So this year that's going to start in April, so you can kind of dog ear that in your calendar. But that's also included in this mentorship program. So you can consider that as well. And that's really exciting. If you haven't done the 21 Days of Wellness program, it's a really comprehensive program to rejuvenate, detoxify, kind of create a good clean slate for the physical body and the mind to kind of go into the spring where there's a lot of transition going on. The body is kind of going through a lot of transition, and so it's a perfect time to do a cleanse. And in Ayurveda, we don't do like juice cleanses, and we don't do a lot of fasting. So, I mean, we do, but those are a little bit more extreme. But in general, we take an approach where we eat a mono diet instead of just fasting. We're eating basically like a lentil, vegetable, and rice dish every day for a period of time to help detoxify and cleanse the body. And so if you're unfamiliar with that, that's also listed online. So you can go to the website, go to the month of April, and the beginning of that starts April 6th. And you can read more about that. There's a couple of workshops that are included in that as well.
All right.
That's it. No questions, no preguntas. I'm practicing my Spanish. Pregunta.
I guess not. It's been a half hour, so we should probably wrap it up.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. We love having you out there. We like doing these. So yeah, if you do think of any guests that you would love for us to pick their brains or just have them on for fun, just email us. And yeah, think about it. And hopefully we have a lot to choose from. It'll be fun, I think.
All right, friends, thanks for joining us. Hope to see you in the studio or online soon.
Have a good day.
Let us know if you have any questions. You can always email us still.
Have a good weekend.